Mandy she used was the one with raising children, and she said that the refining effective practice video was like raising children because you get some who obey and some who rebel. Well, that's why we use the protocols, right? Because we try to keep even the ones who want to rebel at least a little bit in line. So we would like you to practice the protocol, the final say protocol. If you attended the adaptive schools training earlier in the year, we used that training. So I'll briefly go over the final say. What we're going to ask is that one person from each group be the facilitator, decide who's going to facilitate your group. Everyone will read these two sheets, peruse the two sheets, I should say. Choose 3 items from the 2 sheets that you want to share. 3 quotes that you think about why we follow protocol that you want to share with the group. Then what will happen is, in this group, Sandy may share first, so she's going to share her quote. Well, everyone else just sits and listens. Once Sandy has shared her quote, then Jamie would give a response to it, and then Jen would give a response to it, but Sandy just sits there silently, all right? Until it gets around to Sandy, and then she lets everyone know why she chose that quote.
Watch it on your own, and you can kind of see what people are talking about, and it kind of clicks in your mind, oh, yeah, I did that, or they did that. Because when you watch it yourself, you're not even really thinking about those things. You're just kind of focused on what you thought, and then when you get the feedback from people, it really helps out. Go back and refine your practice and change things and make things better. So I do like the protocol in that sense.
It gives you different perspectives.
Multiple perspectives is what I've noticed. You know, people will downplay something, you know, to try and get other people to help. And it's not multiple perspectives. I don't see that as much. At least I haven't.
I chose it because of the safety thing, but also the equity. Because when you're following a protocol like this, like I can easily dominate because I have that personality. But it forces that equity. You know, everybody has a voice. We all take turns. Everybody gets to talk about their issue. We all have equal time. We each have a voice. We listen to what others are having to say, and then we can offer our own opinions.
Outstanding conversations going on, and I'm sure that we have the right people to do this next week. Really, seriously, that was very good. One thing I do want to remind you of is that the protocol is really just the structure, right? It doesn't do the work. So that's what you have to do. And we know that it takes a lot out of you sometimes, because you have to bring out in people what it is we want. What we want is feedback to help one another. And that feedback isn't always the accolades, right? Sometimes that feedback is the cool stuff, and we know from history that the cool stuff is what's hard to get. In fact, I think that it was even abandoned last year, maybe altogether. Like, we don't get, well, let's not even try to get it. Well, we're trying to get it this year. That's what's going to help us, okay? With any learner, or with myself, you have to believe in the learner. You have to believe that the learner can learn. I have to believe that I can teach, but I also have to doubt. I have to doubt that Jenny is getting everything I'm saying. I have to doubt myself a bit. Otherwise, I'm not going to try harder. So that's what we're doing with this video protocol. We're asking people to both believe in their colleagues and at the same time entertain some doubts.
I like the protocol.
The protocol fits in with the Danielson framework model as well, because it talks about citing evidence. And we all know the framework is the same way, that when someone comes in to observe you as an administrator, they have to have the evidence to show you that this is what they saw. Same with the protocol with the video, that everyone's showing you the evidence that is on your video. So it fits in with how we're evaluated and how we evaluate each other as peers. So
that's a good observation. I would say it also fits in again with system-wide with what we should be doing with students. We should be helping them look at their evidence and work.
I think that the cool feedback is what we learn from, and that's what we need to stress. Is we don't need to always get our warm and fuzzies. Yeah, warm and fuzzies are okay, but if we're going to be learning, we have got to have the cool feedback,
right,
and not take it personally. And I think that's the problem with teachers and myself. You know, sometimes we take things personally, and that's not what we want. We just We just want to improve ourselves. So,
I was gonna say, just.
But no, I think the wording is crucial, and I've got to have a few of these questions in my pocket, ready to ask, if I'm not getting anything. If someone passes, too, you know, Justin's fine, you can pass. We're going to take some other cool feedback, but I'm going to come back to you, okay? I mean, I want to make, we can't just let people continue to pass.
We have to think, in our classroom, we have the, do you let your kids pass or do you have the no opt-out? I think we have to have the same expectations of the staff.
I would certainly hope so, as professionals, that we
Or
can have
say,
that
yeah, what she
expectation.
said. Oh, no, yeah.
We do that a lot, I hear that a lot.
Well, tell me, can you tell me more? Can you tell me more?
What she said,
Yeah,
because that's the comment, I wasn't listening, that's what she said.
Or why did that resonate with you
Yeah.
in particular?
yes, I think we just have to let them, if you sort of let them know early that I'm going to pursue this, then it'll work. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed the protocol every year I've done it, but I find that the more I pause, the longer, the slower it goes, the better it is with us. Like, we're not going to rush it. We're going to sit here. We're going to take our time and write. We're going to, I mean, I follow the protocol to a T. We're going to, now that we've written, we're going to think about what we're going to share with Jody, and I find that it goes pretty well. I always have the people who pass. We always have that. But I stick with them. Also in your packet is this sheet that says ground rules for receiving feedback. We have a lot of ground rules for giving it. But this is, I like this piece because it's what I should think about when they're talking to me and about my work.
And also on the blue sheet as well. I mean, this one's linked here.
This one gives a full description of
Yeah.
what each, the blue sheet has a bulleted list, you know, as a reminder for people. But I think at some point, maybe perhaps before we begin the protocol, I would go over this and go over what's on the blue sheet, go over the spirit in which we should be accepting this feedback. Now we're going to practice the protocol together. We're going to do a model demonstration. Who has not facilitated? Okay, 2, 3, 4. All right. So we will briefly take a look at the protocol. If you grab the refining effective practice protocol, please. There might be some changes from last year. I know there's some changes because I typed some new things in. So,
You might notice.
yeah.
Or
I've tried to keep it open-ended, but I'm going to put it down. So if you look at the presentation, I'm sorry, the introduction, you're going to review the ground rules. Now the ground rules are in your blue packet, they're right here. Ground rules for offering feedback. So this is what you might want to take a look at and review. All right? And this, I guess, will also be the time to go over what I just suggested, the ground rules for receiving feedback. Then you're going to have your first presenter. And here's a little bit of a change. If you look at what the presenter does, the presenter shares the context for the lesson being presented, information about students, assignment, learning goal. The presenter also suggests the focusing question for feedback. Last year didn't have the bullet about them sharing the context. They probably already did, but they definitely can do this. These are the students I was working with. This was a particular issue I was having. You could talk about something going on in school that day. This is where the presenter can give any context for the lesson they think is important for people to consider. All right. Then the video is presented, and this is important, is that people are actually encouraged and reminded that they should be writing down notes. There are many times I've done this where I haven't seen anybody write, where I've seen some people not write a thing. After they've written and the video is over, this is the second important piece. Now is really when you take time to consolidate what you've written and really think about it. This is that part that encourages deeper thinking. It's why we don't pause the video and just have a conversation there. Because I'm going to force you to think a little bit more about what you're telling me. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to really consider what it is you want to offer me to help me become a better teacher.